Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim World 3 news video. Today we're going to have another look at the Midland main line, which is coming soon for Train Sim World 3 on all platforms. I'm going to have a look because there was a new roadmap article which will be linked in the description if you want to have a read after this. There is a little bit more information in that. I've basically compiled what I thought were the important parts. I highly recommend as well that you watch my other video, which will be in a card in the top right on this subject, because it contains a little bit more information about the route itself. This video will mainly focus on what we have gained in the latest article. So just a few quick facts. So the route contains 12 stations, it's 13 miles long. It comes with the Class 43 and the Class 158. The 43, the HST, is different to that on GWE. It's been completely remodeled, sounds and everything, and it's got the VP 185 engine instead of the MTU engine. The Class 158 is the first express sprinter for the game. It uses AP sounds that have been implemented by Dovetail. And it also features working GSM-R. And the route and the trains are from Skyhook, so they've done the modelling and some of the physics, but they've had considerable help from Dovetail and AP to make sure that it is as good as it can be. I'm still not holding my breath. I expect there will be lots of bugs on launch, and perhaps those bugs will go unfixed, just based on Skyhook's previous add-ons for the game. Alright, and we'll have a look at the timetable now. So for the Class 158, there are 72 playable services. Most of them are full length, and there's a route map a bit later on. There's an all-day minimum of 1 to 2 trains per hour over the entire route. And there are ECS runs from Eastcroft Depot to Nottingham. There are also local services, which are not full length, that terminate at various stations along the way. And these services are made up of either 2-car services or several 2-car units coupled together. Now, they're a bit vague on that. There might be some 6-car services. There might only be 2- and 4-car services. They just said there were 2-car and multiples, so perhaps there are more than 4. In terms of the Class 43, there are 59 playable services, and almost all of them will be full length. Not much else to say about that. It's pretty bog standard. So in terms of internal layers, there are when I'm talking about an internal layer, I mean something that layers into the Midland main line. So that includes the Class 45, 66, 37 Rail Operations Group and the 66 Railhead Treatment Train. So those are from Northern Transpennine, Southeastern High Speed, the Loco Pack and the other Loco Pack, respectively. So the Class 45 operates a rail tour. The Class 66 operates freight and a rail tour. The Class 37 does Class 375 drags, like it does on Southeastern High Speed. And the Railhead Treatment Train does general Railhead Treatment Train work. Not too much to see there. In terms of external layers, the Class 45, the HST, layers into the Train Sim World 3 version of Southeastern High Speed around the St Pancras area. On AI runs, so the Midland platforms there will get a little bit occupied, give a bit of extra realism to that part of the route, make St Pancras a little bit less empty. Now we'll have a look at the news screenshots that were released in the roadmap article. I won't talk too much about each one. I might give a brief overview of what you're looking at and what that could signify, if it could signify anything. But I probably won't unpack them too much. This is just a bog standard 158, just a 2-car variant. It looks quite nice. The modelling looks alright. Looks perhaps a little bit too clean. Although I do like how it's a bit dirty above the gangway. Other than that, it's not too bad. The buildings look a bit bland. There's probably a little bit of extra modelling could have gone into some of the stuff. But in terms of trackside scenery, yeah, it doesn't look terrible. Should be pretty good. Obviously, bear in mind that these screenshots are all what they want you to see. They're not going to take a screenshot of the bad part of the route. So just bear that in mind as well. This is the cab of the Class 158. So fairly simple layout. It's slightly similar to the Class 150. But a little bit different. As you can see, there's working GSMR. They got some basic, very basic controls there on the dash. We've got the headlight selector on the left, DRA on the dash. I'm not sure what that green button is on the dash. Then we got the throttle, 7-step throttle on the right. AWS reset, the horn, wipers, 3-step West Coast brake, a reverser on the far right. Door controls must be somewhere else, perhaps in the vestibule area. In terms of gauges, there's nothing too complicated going on there. We just got our speedo and our duplex brakes. This is the 158s all together in a depot or a siding. I'm not sure if this is East Croft. It might be, it might not be. They all look very similar. Yeah, they do look a bit clean, although they do look pretty nice out there in the sunset, I have to say. Right, and this is the 43. You can see it's quite nicely modelled. The livery looks very well applied. We can see some texturing along the side, the power car and the coaches, which is nice. I really do think they've done a good job on the livery. And in terms of trackside scenery, it's not too fancy, nothing too special going on. Looks like the signals are have quite poor visibility, so if you're on PC, you'd still need mods to fix that. Otherwise, well, you're stuffed. This is the cab of the HST, fairly similar. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's more or less identical, apart from some missing ATP equipment, to the Class 43 for Great Western Express. You can see that depot shed looks a bit odd, and the chevrons on the doors, which are very typical of early Train Sim World routes, are pretty poorly scaled. And looks fairly hideous. And bear in mind, if this is a good part of the route, then what will the manned parts look like? It looks like that could be Eastcroft. It looks like there is a Class 43 in the depot there, so it might get some ECS with that, but that's TBC. And here we can see our Class 66 doing a rail tour with some what appear to be Mark II coaches? Yeah, Mark IIs. And we got the 43 in the background. Slightly different lighting. This one looks a bit darker, but the HST still looks quite nice in that one. And this is outside St Pancras, where you've got 2 HSTs and, of course, our 395 over there. So as you can see, we're getting a little bit more populated around this area, which should be very nice. And this is the route map. So you can see distinctive Y pattern. Going from the bottom, we have Leicester, Leicester Depot, Siston, Sillaby, Montserrat Sidings, Barrow-upon-Soar, Loughborough, East Midlands Parkway, Ratcliffe Power Station, Long Eaton, Spondon, Litchurch Lane Works, Etchers Park Depot, Derby, Attenborough, Beeston, Nottingham, and Eastcroft Depot. So this is both branches of this are still called the Midland Main Line, which is a bit confusing, but I'm sure we'll get used to it. Both branches look to be about the same length, so I don't think journey time or service time will really be impacted by which branch you take. So it should be a good opportunity to get to drive along both. And this is a screenshot of a 185 and a 43 at Nottingham station, which I have to say looks pretty good. They've done a good job modelling the station canopies. There's a little bit of overlap in places, but yeah, it's being nitpicky. Yeah, looks pretty good, this one. And this one is, I believe, the last... Yeah, this is the last new screenshot of the 185 in snow. It looks a bit funny. I'm a bit confused why there would be snow on the very front of the train and nowhere else. Looks like there's a little bit on the undercarriage as well, which is nice. Alright, and in terms of the release, the route will release on the 18th of April, and it's on Steam sale on sale on Steam now for 10% off. And ignoring that 10% off, in the US it is $40, in the UK it's £30, and in Australia it's $58.50. So that's about all about the Midland Main Line, what we know, well, what's new to us from the latest article. Again, I encourage you to watch my previous video about it and also to read the article. If you want to wait until the route releases before you want to make your mind up, I will be doing a fair amount of review type stuff on the route when it comes out, so keep your eyes open for that. That said, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.